September 4th, 8:33 p.m. I'm just got done watching a movie and I was thinking about Brett Waldron. I'm not going to stop until I get justice from these people. When I lived on Roosevelt Street, my kids were little, like right around kindergarten age. And Danielle was seeing her dad, so we turned on the music every Friday night to have a girl party with the neighbor girls. The neighbor girls would come over and call me mom. Like, hey mom, we're home. One of them had pierced my ear on this side. Jackie, my little girls. I've been seeing they're twins. I've been seeing Amy at the pool sometimes. Look at my hair. It is going to fall down. Back in that day, I was working at Valor Enterprises about 1993, 92, and I was watching TV. That was when the movie Nell came out around this time, O.J. Simpson trials. And us girls, it was just me and my two girls. I moved back from Naples, Florida, having Ashley, and I stayed with my mom for just a short time, and I got out. I found my own place real fast. I'm very fast at getting out and trying to make my life on my own, especially with my kids. I didn't like Tom, my stepdad, because he was manipulating me. My daughter had sat on the couch crying after I'd gotten her from the babysitters. My baby had a blue vein on her cheek, and the babysitter thought I had hit her. I never hit my babies. I put my babies in timeout. I put them in the corner for however age they were, like 5. You stay in the corner or a timeout on the couch for 5 minutes because you're 5 years old. Or I smacked their fingers like my grandma smacked me. I didn't abuse my kids. But I kept getting migraines. Like right now, I have a really bad migraine. It's like the same thing these people keep doing over and over. And I know that it's witchcraft because of, like, Roosevelt Street. There was a woman with real dark black hair over me. And she would never leave. I don't know if it's Lee Staten's mother. I don't know who she was, but I was manipulated by my stepdad when I was trying to go to children's services because the babysitter had said that he had hurt my daughter, and I was very upset. And they tied my stepdad and my brother-in-law, who's the sergeant of police right now, tied my daughter up to a chain and made her act like a dog. So they're abusing my kid. They're abusing my baby. And everybody would say, well, if that was Christina, she would laugh. No, my daughter was petrified. This is abuse because they were abusing her already. They thought it was funny and they were drinking. I wasn't there. I was at work. My mom is supposed to be taking care of my kids. I didn't have anybody. Honestly, I was a single mom. I needed a babysitter. My mom was supposed to be, that was supposed to be the comfort house of going to my mom. But anyway, I called. I don't know what made me call it. It was all over the TV. And I kept having this vision of a ghost walking around a house, and this woman was crying for her man. So I called the Dionne Warwick, and I talked to this lady, Rose, and I remember she told me, she told me I was very intelligent. I like the bohemian, but when I think of bohemian, I think of Jesus. I don't think of people that do magic. Gotta remember, she said, I won't rest until I find the man who put the letter on the rearview mirror and that was Brett Waldron. He did tell me he put a note on the rearview mirror. And she said that she wanted to know the initials of the guy I was dating, and I said CK, which reminded me of Calvin Klein. I forget who modeled the Calvin Klein, one of the Wahlbergs, I think, or something, or I forget whoever, what that song, Love. It reminded me of the Calvin Klein model. What did she say? It's hard to remember everything that she said. She said I was going to be very wealthy. People will listen to me. The two girls beside me are healthy-minded. That song, Dangerous. She's a little bit dangerous. She's got what it takes to make ends meet. I can't remember everything they told me, but it all came true. She said, this is where I got Nostradamus from. She told me that Nostradamus had written about people walking the earth today. This was 1993 and I ended up getting a job at Emory right after I did this. I was making very good money. I had such good credit that if I couldn't pay my rent or if I need money for my car, I could call my bank, just make a phone call and say I need a personal $1,000 loan, and I got it in the bank the next day. I never had to worry about my rent, and it was always paid off through my check. And I ended up buying a Cavalier like my sister, doing very well. I didn't need a man. Me and the girls were fine. Well, Tim Campbell started stalking me from Emory after I started working there. When I got the job, Mrs. Monin was a secretary, and I thought, wow, Matt Monin, yay, Then, there was one more thing. The lady that I was talking to on the phone, she said, something about how I felt, and I said, well, I feel like I've been left behind. And it's scary because we have Left Behind movies that I feel like I've been left behind. What I meant when I said that to her is I felt like I missed out on my true love, is how I really felt. That Doug had moved on, that he had left me. I remember when 50 Goes West came out. This is about the same time 50 Goes West. Selena, Dreaming of You or whatever. I remember sitting looking out my window, and the girls were always talking about 50 Goes West. Christina that was her nickname. I had Winnie the Pooh for her. Ashley was Pooh Bear. Danielle was my Miss Thing, my Dink, and something else. Mike called Danielle Miss Thing, and he was only in Danielle's life for about a year, and we kept dancing every Friday night so that we would never forget our bonding. We danced before Mike got there, just so we would always remember the good times that we always had after we got older, that we would never separate each other. And they were my diamonds. My daughters were my diamonds. I lived for my kids. But the guys, they came in and separated us, and that was big at Emory. When 103.9 came out on the radio, was when I was working at Emory, and they kept talking about gotta keep them separated. I didn't know that the music was for me yet. I thought the music was from God, like I told you in another video. Still, and they kept talking at Emory about, come here, boy, come have a cigar, you're gonna go far. The Pink Floyd song. I remember my crew leader was always doing the crossword puzzle, and he made a point to talk about have gun will travel. Stuff like that is like they have to do an innuendo to me something that they make me, because they have somebody talking over my head. It's their game, like the Ring Called Circle. You know, they've got somebody, like, I have to listen to my surroundings. And I'll never forget, because they're like planting these thoughts in my brain at the same time. Like, there's a guy, Rich, from Crew 22. They put Danzig in the movie Lost Boys. And then meanwhile, Jesse Staten is still stalking me somehow. I remember being on the K-Loader, and there was a girl, I can see her in the back of my mind, that she has dark hair, like trying to talk to me, that I looked like Mariah Carey, because I had a red jumpsuit on. And that was when I think Mariah Carey came out with the song All I Want for Christmas Is You. But I found out they had a hand in the TLC songs. And if you watch the other guys, he keeps talking about TLC. And that was my initials when I was married, TLC. I quickly divorced him. But to talk about Brett Waldron, he worked at Emory. I knew him when I was 19 from Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson worked at her arena as the staff for the when they had the bands and everything. And they did something to me. Kevin did some really bad stuff to me. He was a really good-looking guy, so I'm kind of shocked that Kevin became a part of the cult. When we were working at Oaks Industry through Brownlee Services, when I was 19, Kevin and everybody would go to Oscars, the My Place Lounge. It was called My Place Lounge, which is Nellie. If I ever wrote my book, it would be Nellie My Place. Let's go back to My Place. Kevin ended up ditching me for a girl that looked like the girl from Uncle Buck. And I'm being told that she's Angie Hayes from Valor now. I don't know. It might be Angie Hayes. If that's Angie Hayes, I beat the crap out of that girl in the front yard because Kevin had ditched me. I remember laying Danielle on the curb in her little bassinet because I was so angry that he had cheated on me behind my back. I laid my baby down, and I seen them walking out of the house, and I slammed her to the ground, and I punched her. I beat her up. If she's Angie Hayes, she's stalking me. Probably because if she worked at Valor, and she kept saying that she used to be fat and she lost a bunch of weight. Well, the girl I beat up was normal size, you know, but Angie Hayes was skinny. Oh my gosh, it might be that girl. She looked exactly like the Uncle Buck girl when I was 19. I don't know how many years between Oaks and how Kevin even found this girl to Valor. How many years that was. I think I just hit something. I think I just found a clue. My stepdad kept calling my grandbaby Gabby Hayes. And I kept being told over my head that it was from the movies. I don't remember no Gabby Hayes in the movies. But Angie Hayes. There was an Aaron Hart, and I kept getting Brett the Hitman Hart. Aaron had taken me to Expression Studio to have my pictures done, and I was very tiny. I didn't have any fat on me. I was very skinny. And now I can't, they've got, you can't see them. They're spiritual hooks in my brain, like fish hooks. They actually do. There's hooks. That's why my arms are so flabby. I can't work out. There's hooks. Like sometimes if I like, I have to imagine fighting these people because it's witchcraft. If I put them down, I could feel them falling. They've got the hooks through my arm. Like if you watch Caribbean The Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl, they call her Puppet. It would be like Joe Roth and Darcy Cotton as being the pirates, you know, the wicked pirates. And they're putting innuendos of my life in the movies, and I don't like to talk about it, but that Jesus did tell me this is going to happen to me. A lot of people walking the earth, they do know in their subconscious this is happening to the divine association. We're being attacked by the wicked drug addicts. When I was in Florida, I was at CASA, and I talked to this lady, Tina, and she said that she was online. Tina was online, not the same Tina. There was another Tina that I stayed in my room. This Tina online, she said that negative people are stealing my energy, but they're draining me. If you watch The Dark Crystal, my Uncle Mo had us sit and watch The Dark Crystal when we were kids on this big screen TV and surround sound. And The Dark Crystal, the Gelfling is getting drained. They're stealing the essence, and I don't know. That was my vision when Doug passed away, that it was kismet, you know, that we soul talked, like dream fasted, like the Dark Crystal people did. Jen and Kira, they dream fasted. But when I woke up, it was like kismet. That's what I heard. It was kismet. I had to look up the word kismet because I didn't know what kismet meant. It was destiny. We were meant to meet each other. But Brett Waldron, I met him at 19 at Kevin Jackson's house, the one that dated that girl that I beat up. And I remember there was something big about Casanos. They had a friend that worked at Casanos in Vandalia at the time, and the pizza was so good it had extra cheese and pepperoni on it. And we were all sitting in the dining room. We were actually standing there, but everybody left, and they left me with Brett. So Brett took me in another room, not knowing what was going on. I felt like I was confused, that I didn't know anything that was going on. Why did Kevin just leave me? And Brett took me on the couch, and he went like this to my head, ran his finger across my head, and he's like, there's something in your head. And I came back up, and I guess I went home. I don't know. It was like they hypnotized me. And when I was in math class, Matt Owen was piercing his ear. I'm saying names I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to say names because I'm angry. If they want to sue me, they can sue me because these people are hurting me. Everybody is the White Stripe song. I'm going to Wichita. I'm going to Wichita. Every single one has a story to tell. There's something in every song, or there's something in almost every movie, almost every song today for what's going on. It's like clues. But Matt was piercing his ear, and he bled. And I remember going to a party with Kim Hill. She was leaving us to go to Milton, and I haven't seen her since. But I'm told that she plays the bridesmaid. Like her twin is the bridesmaid movie, the one that gets married. She does look like Kim Hill. But anyways, while we're watching a movie about Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse for math, I go into a daze and I put my head down. It was like I was like daydreaming in my mind, and Donald Duck was going, there's something in your brain, there's something in your brain. It's like I'm being hypnotized all the time. But you can't see them do this to me because it's witchcraft or mirrors like Chris Angel work. Chris Angel went to brainwash. Very evil man. I had a dream about Chris Angel. I was beat in the head one day. This is going to lead into why I saw Chris Angel. I was knocked out for 3 days. I got beat up, and I had a big eggnog on my forehead from Dustin Bennett in his basement. He just kept plowing me in the forehead. He had cheated on me, and he didn't like to look at me. I wasn't allowed to ask questions, you know. Who is this girl? So he started hitting me. We weren't even really arguing or anything. He just got really angry, I guess, from guilt, and knocked me in my forehead and left an eggnog. But so I ended up at my manager's house from Hickory River. And when I woke up, he said, "Do you know you were asleep for 3 days?" And I said, "No, I didn't know. I don't even know why I didn't go to work. You know, I didn't know nothing. I still don't know why I didn't go to work or what happened at my work. Why wasn't my boss looking for me? Why weren't my kids looking for me? Why didn't he take me to the hospital if I was out for 3 days?" But when I woke up, Hickory River hasn't been there that long, so it wasn't that long ago this happened. But when I woke up, I was in a yellow bird cage in my vision, and I was sitting crouched to my knees, naked, and that I couldn't get out of this cage. And I think I even told Don about it, my manager. I told him what the vision was. And well, when I was in Florida, after I had this concussion thing, and Don had said I went into a coma. That would be the dark horse. He put me in a coma. So Dustin must be one of them. I don't want to believe that he is, but he must be really bad, because I thought I saw his dad. In my hindsight, because I can see stuff that they did to me. It's like a mind control that they're doing to me. You're not allowed to mess with anybody's brain. And these people have my brain on lock. Like, so that everybody thinks I'm crazy when it's really like this evil, whatever Chris Angel does with mirrors. If you watch Shaquille O'Neal and Chris Angel, you could see Shaquille float. This is what these people are doing. If you YouTube Shaquille O'Neal with Chris Angel, I don't like it. It's demon magic. But anyways, when I was in Florida, I saw I had a vision of Chris Angel in a little tiny black bat cage. And he had black wings, and he was sitting like this, like I was in the cage that I had. So we're opposite. Me and Chris Angel are opposite in cages. That Chris Angel is going to get chained up, and he's going to be gone. God is going to put him in a cage. And I was told that if anybody ever, when I was in Florida, right after I had that vision, if anybody ever laughed at this that has happened to me, or loves that this is happening to me, God has a torture chamber in hell waiting for these people. These people, it's going to be real hell at the very bottom of the bottomless pit that God wrote about in the Bible. These people don't believe that this is real, that there's really a hell. God is going to put them, I even seen it. There is a torture chamber, and it's got like seats in it, and they will be whipped and tortured by whatever's down there. They're going to be put with the worst people that went to hell, like Hitler and them at the bottom, and all of the Jeffrey Dahmer's, serial killers. They will be in this torture chamber in hell. It's very bad. Very, very bad. What they're going to go through. They will never get out. These people that are hurting me, they're never going to get out of this torture chamber. Because I guess, in What Dreams May Come, maybe they get out. God might let, if you committed suicide and you're at the very top level of the hell, because there's layers, maybe God does let them come, if they're lost, God tries to get them out. So after so much time of them being punished. But I don't know. It's a theory, but that's what I believe about hell. I don't think God wants to keep people in hell. But when you're locked up, you're locked up. So I don't know. I'm not God. But it is a theory that the suicide people, they're lost at the top part of the layer. I don't know. That's what I get from the movie. But anyways, Brett Waldron started working at DAP. I don't even know where he came from. I was delivering the mail to DAP for a very long time. And then I started working there. But Brett, they're showing this baby doll while I'm talking. It's just cannibalistic. Should not be in America. George Michael, Listen Without Prejudice. He says once, what was over there is now over here. And Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen, we were going to kill the yellow man. Whoever wants this, is doing this. But Brett Waldron worked at DAP, and he took me, he wouldn't stop talking to me, actually. He said, he took me to this one part on our break and said, a dream is like a river. I guess things were going to pass me by because they were going to hold me hostage. So he was talking about the song River by Garth Brooks. He took me out in his car one time at break and started talking about Drops to Jupiter, that picture song by Ying Yang Twins, I think, maybe, or something. Shake It Like a Polaroid picture. He was talking about that. But when he first came there to my house, he threw a tantrum. And he wanted to know what my necklace was. And he wanted me to invite him in, and I didn't know that he was evil. Because it had been, throughout different periods of my life that he was in my life, which he should not have been in my life at all. I don't know, but he's just a really bad guy. I forget all the songs that he used to talk to me about, but it was always about music. He had told me that he had to pay a ton of money to go see this lady at the Renaissance Fair, and that he was my unborn child in another life, like Marilyn Monroe had been pregnant when she died, is what he said. And they're saying that JFK is the Denver State and Tom Watson is George Washington. I had gotten that Tom Watson was George Washington in another life because when he raped me one day after school, there was something about him not being able to tell a lie. And I was people were talking to me. I don't know if he did it or what. The Tom can astral project that he was George Washington. So George Washington made the Constitution. They were in the colonial days where we're all getting separated. That's going to be in my chapter. The world started changing when the Indians were here, and they tried to teach us how to live off the land, and we killed off the Indians. We have really mean white people. The Indians were here first. The white people couldn't share the land. They ended up making colonies, and now we have states. It's we don't need the barriers. We don't even need the Mexican wall. The wall of China didn't work, but these people in the history, they made our Constitution, and now we have this, and Jesus has already died on the cross. So you have to go back in history and read all of this to get why in the world do these people want to hostage us? They want to be rich. They want to take over the world. They formed a gang. I don't know. I don't know who all was involved, and I don't even know if they really are the ex-presidents, which brings me to Point Break, the movie. I don't even know if they were ex-presidents, but That's what I keep being told is JFK dated Marilyn Monroe, and I think there is something about the presidency that these people, were born into certain families to see what road they would take, because we get to choose to follow. I figured everybody followed God, but that would be. This is when I'm just talking off because I feel stupid talk about JFK. My thoughts out here. I forget what I was gonna say. It was like, I get angry if a girl hits on me because she thinks everybody's like her. I'm not like her. I am friends with them because I want to keep an open mind about the world and God. I know God is against it, but he's not going to cast these people in hell for being gay. They're going to cast people in hell for molesting a child. If they don't try to find God. There's a lot of people I love, like the maestro for the symphony. I went to school with one of them, and he is gay, and I love him to death. I love him. He made something of himself. I don't judge him, but if they want to hurt me, or if they think that they can hit on me just because I've had this done to me when I was working at Ryan's restaurant. This girl thought that she could do whatever she wanted because she was gay, but I'm not. And so if inward girl, like my pastor said, people tread on the vulnerable ones. If I'm not vulnerable, that we have to stop the rape, we have to stop the molestation in the world today to get people to stop treading on people they think are weak. Actually, I'm strong. I'm stronger because of all the things that people have done to me. I'm not going to die. They want me to die. I'm not going to die. But we have to stop all this interrogation, even being hit on. How did there become so many people that are gay in the world today? It's like all these things we have to think about and try to fix it. What are we angry about that we want to fix? The whole world needs to fix it now. We're making it technology. We're making it confusing for the children, which I've said in other videos, but I feel stupid talking about it, but we've got to get the world turned around, like my vision. So we have to get this all turned around from all the things that are wrong and all the ways that people think. People are thinking so many wrong thoughts today. I'm gonna close this one because I feel stupid. But if JFK was the devil, I liked JFK for what I read, and that my grandma liked JFK. I don't know him as a president, but he did say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country is what I like about JFK. Maybe he was told to say that as his motto for presidency. But, I don't know. I didn't live back then. But if Lee Staton is going to be locked up, because God calls him the modern day Puss in Boots. When I was a kid living next to Boots and reading the Puss in Boots story, and I had a vision of Lee Staton climbing the ladder like Jacob's ladder, trying to steal the castle. So he's a mirror charmer, and I'm thinking that my stepdad, my uncles and are mirror charmers. Jesus pointed out Tom and Zindel to me, that they are demon people today, that they can astral project. If they play with mirrors, which I think my uncle Zindel did, hurt my Aunt Sherry, God is going to do something to them. But there's a lot of people that are going to cross over to Christ in the cult. It sounds like almost the whole town is cult. after I'm putting all the connections together about Ledbetter and you know, the names and stuff and the music. But when I was very little and my mom was driving the Duster, we were going around the corner, the curve of where Walgreens is. And my cousin Shelly fell out of the car. But I kept looking at Shelly. There was I think it was Darcy Cotton over my head talking to me. And this is their thing. This is what they do. They're invisible talking, but they're real people. This is what God wants to put down. God is calling them the devil because they are playing God behind us. Like the Spy Kids movie, they're playing God, and where they have the dinosaurs.